Alright guys, so tonight's episode, we'll veer off the path just a little bit and go into uncharted territory. So y'all hang tight. Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Rolling with T-Bone. If you're new here, welcome in. My name's T-Bone. I shoot motorcycle related content and any kind of content really. If you are new here, I invite you to check out a few of my videos. If you think I'm right for you, consider giving us a subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. If you're old here, welcome back. You know what's going on. Let's dive into it. All right, guys, welcome to this episode of Rolling with T-Bone. As we are in the cage because it's just a rainy, messy, maybe snow overnight day. Some bad storms came through last night. We had some real bad storms come through. Did a lot of damage. Had some crazy wind. Now they're saying we might get more snow tonight, so I hope they missed that completely. But anyway, we're not here for the weekly weather report, I don't guess. We are here to talk about an urban legend. Let's talk about the boogeyman. So tonight, guys, we are going to be talking about Cropsey. Now, before we get started, tonight's episode was recommended by one of our valued channel members, Mr. Slickhead Custom over at Slickhead Custom Cycles. Slick said he would like to see me cover Cropsey. So I've been doing some research, and wow, what a case, what a story, what a just wow. Before I begin, and I don't know if Slick knew this before he made the request, but I would like to send, thoughts and prayers out to all the families of the missing children. As a victim of a violent crime myself, of course, my mother being murdered in 1988 when I was 11 years old. I am a victim of a violent crime, so my heart's with you guys. Fortunately for my case, they were able to catch my mother's killers and sentence them, put them in prison. Of course, we won't get into all that as to how that has manifested over the last few years, but my heart goes out to you guys. So I'm going to try to be as delicate with the subject matter here as I can. So with that being said, then let's get into what this episode's going to be about. So Cropsey is a boogeyman, urban myth person from Staten Island, New York. His name is synonymous with a place called Willowbrook Mental Asylum that's closed down. And if you get on YouTube and just search Cropsey, you can find all kinds of information. But all of us have grown up in a place. We all had our urban legends. For the people around Staten Island of New York, it was Cropsey. A hook hand, axe murderer, carried a chainsaw. We all have those urban legends. We all have those boogeymen. Over the years, we've seen them come to life on the big screen as Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger. But Cropsey seems to actually be a real life individual. A gentleman named Andre Rand. Now, all of this goes back, guys, to the 70s and the 80s. The Willowbrook Mental Asylum was a very, very poorly ran facility. They dealt with a lot of mental illness. They dealt with children with Down syndromes and mental problems. And there's about 30 cases of missing kids. And to cut it down, Cropsey, or Andre Rand, is the gentleman that is believed to have kidnapped these kids, and no remains or nothing was ever found. So again, trying to be sensitive to the subject. The urban legend, of course, being hook hand, chainsaw, axe, all that stuff. You know, we, like I was saying a minute ago, we all have those urban legends. For us, we have the lady in white who's on the Ocoee River Road. Y'all see me ride that road in the past on the bike. Like I said, for some people it's Michael Myers, for some people it's Jason Voorhees. Urban legends. We've all heard those stories, but and Andre Rand was arrested for the kidnapping of a young lady named Jennifer Schwinger, Schwinger, I think the name was. And she suffered from Down syndrome. In 1972, Geraldo Rivera did a expose on Willowbrook, exposing it as just a nasty, unkept, people were just basically brought to that huge facility and dumped, and the conditions that they lived in was just deplorable. But it would be another 10 years in 1982 before they would close down Willowbrook. So Geraldo did the expose showing the deplorable conditions, showing the staff and the facility for what it was. And then you enter Andre Rand, who lived on the property around Willowbrook. Willowbrook being on a 384-acre spread. He would, you know, live in makeshift shacks, camp, and he wasn't the only one, because there was a lot of people, homeless people, was on Staten Island, and Staten Island had a population of about 500,000 people, but they would live in the catacombs and the caverns and under the mental asylum. And Cropsey was the urban legend that was born. And of course, parents would say, don't go outside at night, Cropsey will get you. Don't go too close to the woods, Cropsey will get you. You know, don't go to the water or too close to the water, Cropsey will get you. It was an urban legend. But when Andre Rand was arrested, he maintained his innocence the entire time. Now he's been in prison since sometime in the 80s. They arrested him. And people have been searching for the remains of these children, you know, basically for the last 40 years, 45 years. And it's a sad thing, like I said, because, you know, in a situation like that, you want closure. But this guy, Andre Rand, his life does read kind of like a horror story. He's been accused of being a devil worshiper. He's been accused of being linked with the deity that caused the Son of Sam murders, which that's a whole nother different story. But his book reads like a horror story. There's no doubt about it. In the pictures and in the video, the guy kind of looks like he's wild-eyed, and looks like he could be a little crazy himself. Maybe, you know, in some of the documentary research I watched, people said instead of working there, he probably should have been a patient at the mental facility. So at the time that this all happened, guys, Andre Rand would have been 43 years old. And what makes Jennifer Schweiger's story so interesting was that she was found. She was found about 150 yards from one of Andre Rand's known campsites where he camped regularly. And everybody in that area came out to witness against Andre Rand, saying that, you know, that they had seen Jennifer get into his green Volkswagen Bug. A bunch of people came out as witnesses. And within just a short amount of time, Andre was picked up. Now, at the time this happened, Jennifer was 12 years old. So the cases, a lot of the cases that it's believed that Cropsey is involved in was a lot of mentally handicapped children and people. I think there was one boy, Hank, I think his name was. He was 21 years old. So, just very sad, guys. It's, you know, there's a difference in just making up the story of a boogeyman and there being a boogeyman. You know, the boogeyman's hiding under your bed. That's just, you know, that's just a tactic to scare a kid. To me, it's more scary when it's a real person and you can put a name and a face and a story behind it. Kind of makes it true crime documentary, basically. But you know, it's interesting how the people up there around Staten Island would deal with their people that they found quote unquote undesirable. You know, and that's part and parcel of the way this entire country treated these poor people who had mental handicaps, Down syndrome. You know, seen it here where I grew up. A local family had a daughter, and she suffered from that, and she couldn't even talk. And you know, they just kind of kept her in the house all the time, never really took her out anywhere. And it's sad the way our country treated those types of folks back in the day. You know, working at the recreation department, we get to work with the Special Olympics. And, you know, I've always said, when it comes to the kids who have Down syndrome and to the kids who have the mental handicaps, those are the people we need to strive to be like. You know, they've got the work programs now, and we've got restaurants around here who will give these young folks with the Down syndrome jobs. And man, they never meet a stranger. They always are happy to see you. They smile, give you a hug. They come from a place of pure love. They don't know hate. They don't know evil. They don't know wrong. And I've always said that those are the people that we should strive to be like. We should strive to be just like them. And man, if we did, the world would be such a wonderful place. And I have always been very defensive of those kids. Even when I was a kid in school, you know, you don't pick on those folks around me, because I will come completely unglued. And my kids, I instilled that into them. You know, those folks need your love. They need your protection. And you know, that's kind of what makes the story of Andre Rand so sad, is that the way he, you know, they're certain that he did it, but again, they're not certain, because he was arrested and convicted on circumstantial evidence. They piled on enough years with the kidnapping charges to make sure he dies in prison. But, you know, he's never actually, as far as I know, from the way I read everything in the documentary, he's never actually been convicted of any murders. although they're pretty certain he did. So to me, guys, that makes him an even scarier boogeyman, if that makes sense. Now, there was another case, and this is the one that kind of made sure that Andre Rand would never get out of prison. A young lady named Holly Ann Hughes. I think she was 10 when she went missing. But she was the one where everybody was like, yeah, we saw Mr. Rand take her. She had walked to the store. She might have been 14. I may have been wrong about being 10. I don't know. There's a lot of facts with this case, guys, and it's easy to get mixed up with it. But, you know, like I said, now all this is on YouTube. All you got to do is search out Cropsey, C-R-O-P-S-E-Y. You can see everything that I'm talking about here. Her family would not let it rest, and nor should they have. But they actually got it proved that he did kidnap her, of course, with no corpus delicti, no body. It was hard to get the murder conviction. But yeah, it's, you know, you think about that kind of stuff like that, guys, and of course, I talk about it in the sense of urban legend. We talk about it in the sense of the boogeyman. You know, back in the day, Bigfoot was considered the boogeyman. Before the word cryptid started floating around, you know, parents would tell their kids, don't go near the woods because the hairy man will get you. Don't go near the woods because the grass man will get you. Don't go near the woods because the woolly man will get you. The woolly booger will get you. A lot of the urban legends, though, are based in some kind of truth. And the urban legend of Cropsey is very much based in truth. Now, when it comes to Andre Rand, they believed that he was satanic, and they believed that he was actually the leader of a homeless cult that lived underground in the catacombs at Willowbrook Mental Asylum. They believed that he was kind of a Jim Jones character. People would follow him. He could manipulate people. And man, coming out of those times, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, up to the 90s, man, those cult leaders, they were born with some charisma, I'm telling you. To be able to just get people to give up their own free will and just follow your suggestions and follow what you want to do, that's a very powerful gift that these folks was gifted with. And of course, we saw Charles Manson had that gift, David Koresh had that gift, Jim Jones had that gift, and the list goes on and on and on. These charismatic people who were able to convince people. A lot of times, you know, Manson had all of his family believing he was Jesus. Koresh had the same thing. Jim Jones, the same thing. He had people believing he was God. And then you sit there and you think to yourself, wow, I would never lower myself to, you know, be able to be brainwashed, but you know, when you get into a vulnerable situation, when life just keeps knocking you down, knocking you over, slapping you around, you know, when you meet this one charismatic individual who seems to have answers to the questions that you've been asked, and I mean, yeah, you could see how it could happen that somebody could get swept away by something like that. I can't get nobody to follow me. Not trying to make light of the subject, but I couldn't get nobody to follow me. That would be just a huge waste of time. I'm not that charismatic. And some have said that I have a nasty disposition. And I don't guess with the nasty disposition you would do too good at getting people to follow you. At least you couldn't have the nasty disposition at the beginning of the thing. But, you know, getting back to Andre Rand here, guys. This, you know, the boogeyman all times is real. I mean, you know, and like I said, it don't have to be some kind of specter that leaps out of the closet or comes out from under the bed. The boogeyman can be a real life flesh and blood human being, such as an Andre Rand. Now, like I said, Andre Rand has maintained his innocence. I'm not trying to hold kangaroo court. I'm not trying to find him innocent. I'm not trying to find him guilty. I'm simply just giving you guys the facts that as I see them as they were laid out in front of me in doing the research. You know, these families, they deserve closure. They deserve to be able to get the remains of their loved ones back, and to be able to have a proper burial ceremony, to be able to grieve. And, you know, the hurt never goes away. And I can speak, like I said, now I can speak to this from experience. The hurt never goes away. The pain of the loss never goes away. The questions of what would it be like today if I hadn't have lost my loved one, that never goes away. You just learn how to go through the motions when you lose somebody. But it's particularly hard. Like I said, when I lost my mother to being violently murdered, people who are victims of violent crimes like that, it's a little different for us, because if a person is killed in an automotive accident or a plane crash, or they die in a house fire, which is all terrible, you know, you kind of have a reason for it. But when somebody just does something such as these people, these young people being killed by Cropsey, it's so senseless. There's always that burning question in the back of your mind: why did it happen? Why did this have to happen? And that I believe is one of the hardest things to try to deal with and to get through, if that makes sense. So guys, in closing, was Andre Rand a boogeyman, or was he a madman? I'd say he was both. But there it is, guys. Cropsey. This is way out of my wheelhouse. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do this episode right, do it justice, but I'm going to say we've got the episode. I want to thank Slickhead again over at Slickhead Custom Cycles on YouTube, guys. If you're not subscribed to Slick, I invite you to go over and check out some of his content. And if you think you like what you see, it's all motorcycle related content, consider giving him a subscribe, like, comment, and tell him T-Bone sent you. I'd appreciate that, and I know Slick would appreciate that. But also remember Hippie at Hippie's Chopper Corner, and all of our regulars, Recycle Hooligan, Georgia Hillbilly, Neil M, Julie Smith, remember Lolly and Froggy on their YouTube channel, Mythical Rider, Mystical Themes. They have they did a good live. Their last live was a good one. I was there for a little bit of it, but with the work schedule being the way it was, I didn't get to stay for the whole thing, but I did go back and catch it on the rewatch. Good interview, a lot of good information. My mom had 7 sisters, so I know a lot about the empath stuff. They used to do tarot readings. A couple of the sisters were big into stuff like that, being into. But y'all let me know, guys. What do y'all think? Do y'all like this? Do y'all like this vein, the true crime documentary stuff that I'm doing here? The true crime stuff. If y'all like this, we'll try to add some more of it to the repertoire. I was hoping to be able to get to shoot this episode on the bike, but man, I'll tell you, our weather took a tank. But of course, next week it's supposed to be back up into the 70s. We're playing cat and mouse with spring right now, but spring is drawing ever nearer. This episode will be out, of course, before the next cryptid episode, which will be Champ. I am actually still working on that on the champ episode right now. Still getting information. But for now, guys, I'm gonna say we've got to say Rolling with T-Bone episode. So if y'all like this, remember to comment and let me know. Y'all remember to like, share, subscribe. If you like what you see, go check out some of my other videos. I shoot moto vlogs and cryptid content as well. But y'all let me know what y'all think about all this. If you like this, we'll try to ease this into the repertoire. But I tell you what, guys, until the next time, y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay warm. And hey, thanks for watching.